Thank you for joining me today on the Who God Says podcast. I am your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-Dra. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome, everybody. We have a special guest today. She is a wife and mother, an author, wellness coach, and nutritionist, Kim Mosman. Mosman. Mosman.
Mosiman. Yep.
Mosman. I did it again. Miss Kim Mosiman, everybody.
Hello. Hello. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too. I'm on my health journey again, shall I say, and it's different than it's ever been before. And I guess as we grow and change, that's going to happen to a lot of us, that we're going to still be on a journey that's going to be different than it's ever been before.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I want to start by asking, what is your spiritual background, and did you grow up in like a religious household?
I grew up in a household that believed in God, but we did not go to church very often. My mother was raised in a pretty strict house, but my father was not. And so the compromise, I guess, in my house when I was growing up was that we believed in God and we said our prayers, but we didn't go to church. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go to church often when I was young. My nana used to bring me to church. And it was like, if I stayed by her house maybe for the summer, I would definitely go to church every week. But my grandmother took me maybe 2 or 3 times. My dad was Catholic, and I've only been to church with him twice.
Yeah.
And so it was never a constant thing. Again, yeah, we all believed in God, in our house, but I wasn't a regular.
Yeah. We
And
went
I
on
got
holidays. Like I think the probably more than 50% of Christians go on the holidays and then sometimes forget that there are another 50 weeks in the year. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even remember that, but I know I would only really go because that was the only time I had like church clothes and everything, was when I was with my nana. And
Yeah. Yeah. And now nobody needs them. Come as you are, right?
right, which it should have been like, come as you are, but I guess. But yeah, I got baptized really young, and I didn't know why. And like my nana was like, "You're getting baptized."
Hmm.
And to say no, I was already at the church, and I wasn't going to tell her no anyway. So, I wasn't gonna but yeah, I mean, it was growing up was an adventure that I think I had too much knowledge of at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are a wife and a mother and a business owner.
Yeah.
That's a lot, because wife is a lot, then wife and mother is a lot, then mother is a lot by itself. Then you add in the businesses on top of that. Ooh.
Fortunately, my husband always owned a business, and I worked with him for the first 10 years of our parenthood time. And
Mhm.
so, if one of the kids was sick, I didn't have to. I mean, I've been very blessed to, yes, have been a wife, a mother, and a business owner, but I also have had flexibility that I know
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have. And it's a shame that everybody doesn't have automatic backup once they decide to become parents, because it brings on a lot of stress and a lot of worry for a lot of parents. So,
Oh, yes. It definitely does. When they started saying it takes a village, well, I think it's been around a lot longer than me, but when I started hearing it and
hmm,
really like understanding it, yes, it does take a village. I mean,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's amazing to have a husband who was already a business owner, because he already understood what it takes to be a business owner. And if you were just coming into that, it would probably be a little bit more difficult, with you guys being on the same page.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's easier for women and it's harder for men. I don't understand. Like, it's easier for us to understand, okay, let me keep an open mind. You may have to stay up late some nights. You may have to miss doctor's appointments. But for men, it's like, no, you should be doing this. It's like,
Well, I think it's because typically the wife is well, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I know in my house I'm the caretaker, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I take care of my husband, I took care of my sons, and he can have all the opinions he wants in the world, but I was going to be present when I felt like I needed to be,
yeah,
and maybe it's a little bit of a control thing. I don't know, but I stayed engaged and I got my work done. So sometimes the house was messy. Sometimes the dishes didn't get done or somebody had to fold their own socks, but all of the important things in life always seemed to fall
yeah,
together when they needed to.
yeah. How did you balance it all? Like, what helped you move between those titles and responsibilities and expectations?
Probably Jeff and I, my husband, Jeff, there was just kind of a mutual agreement between the two of us that, and there were times where it was our marriage that took a back seat to things. I mean, owning a business means you don't get to call in sick, right? Or the business doesn't open. Um, Having kids means you don't get to shut the door and turn the world away. You have responsibilities all the time. So I think we did a great job of communicating in, hey, I need to do this week, or I need to do this today. And because we talked about it before it happened, our marriage stayed strong.
Wow.
Um, as far as balance goes, I learned I love to cook. And early on in my marriage and motherhood journey, I thought I had to cook from scratch every day of the week. And, you know, I tried and, and I just got worn out. So once I left the business that I owned with my husband and I started my own, so we had this whole other component going on, right? A second business.
Mm.
I just started cooking for leftovers. And and I wrote a book, and in my book, I talk a lot about cooking once and eating twice, or even three times. And it
Mm.
wasn't that we ate leftovers the same time. My husband and my sons were not up for that. But I cooked. I learned to cook like something basic, like a roast or a pork loin or a whole chicken. And we ate that one night, and then the next night it miraculously became tacos or fajitas or a soup. And so I knew it was the same food,
Right.
but somehow I convinced the men in my house that I had created something new and special. And it it really kept me going and kept me sane for a long time because I always knew no matter what time I walked in the door, I was going to be able to put something good on the table, but it wasn't going to take me a long
Mm.
time.
Yeah,
And I
that's
still
a
cook
good
that way
idea.
today, and there's only two of us here.
Well, that's a good idea, especially for busy moms. That's a good idea because okay, so used to like go to the grocery store, get groceries, like pile up the baskets and say, okay, we like to eat this, we like to eat that, we like to eat this. And then every day I got to figure out what it is that we're cooking.
Hmm.
Um, then I started well, I'm in New Orleans, so we have hurricanes. So during the summertime, I started saying, okay, I'm not going to fill up the freezer with meat and things like that, in case power go out and all of that. So I'll go to the grocery store and twice a month and plan for the first 2 weeks of the month,
Hmm.
plan out the meals and do it that way, and then go back to the store. And now I have kind of merged the two where I'm doing like a big grocery store run, and then I'm doing like a supplemental run,
Gotcha.
maybe 2 times after that.
Yeah.
And so, but I still have not gotten to the point where I completely got my meals planned out because there are still days when I'm like, um, eat frozen pizza. Um,
Right. Yeah.
or it's like, okay, I forgot to take meat out of the fridge, so there's everything frozen. What are we going to eat? So, but kind of what you said, cooking a meal like chicken, and it's maybe chicken and rice one day, and then changing that into tacos. My kids love tacos. Why did
Yeah.
I not do that?
Yeah.
Like, why are they not? They can eat
Yeah.
tacos every day.
Oh, mine could too. My boys love that. You know, I just so because I live in the Midwest, we have tornadoes, but we don't have to worry so much about like catastrophic storms.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, I live in farmland, right? We purchase half a beef and a whole hog every year, and I've got a
Mm,
freezer in my garage, which is great right now when groceries are so expensive.
yes.
But I've always I'm a terrible planner. So I've got meat at my disposal anytime I want to, but it always seemed like I would put forth all this effort and I would try to plan out my meals for a whole week. But then Tuesday would come and no one wanted what I had planned, and it was just so frustrating for me. So now I go to the grocery store and I go once a week because I don't have to purchase meat and things. That's all in my freezer.
Yeah.
And I buy vegetables, and as soon as I get home, I peel the carrots and I cut the celery and I trim the radishes and I cut the peppers and I put them in a big container. So those things are done in the refrigerator.
Mm.
Um, a lot of times I'll make a big salad and I line the bowl with white paper towels, and that absorbs the moisture and it'll last all week long.
Oh wow.
So I have vegetables done and I have salad done. And then if I cook that larger portion of meat one day, you know, even if I just want a salad with some chicken on it, it's already done. All I have to do is take it out of the fridge, put it in a bowl, and dress it the way I want to, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
it's been so much better, one, for our grocery budget, and two, for my pant size. Because I don't go to the freezer and pull out a pizza, or we don't run through a drive through or decide, oh, heck, let's just go spoil ourselves and go out for dinner. Yeah.
These are some good tips. These are really some good tips, especially for busy. I keep saying busy moms because I'm a busy mom. And so it's
Yep.
like really hitting home for me.
Yep.
But even if you're not a parent and you don't seem to have time to, let's go to the grocery store every week. Let's do, these are actually good tips. And like you say, it helps your pant size. So
Yes.
that's always important. Now I'm going to write notes. So I can still do my, I think I'm going to go back and start doing the 2 trips a month because that actually it did help the budget.
Hmm.
It really did. Because most of the time when I go to the grocery store and I'm getting like a whole bunch of stuff, I'm getting with what I want and not.
What you need.
Yeah, I'm picking like yeah,
Yep.
all kind of stuff. Oh, I haven't had this in a while. Crab cakes and all kind of stuff. Knowing I don't.
Right?
Just a
And
whole bunch of
that's
stuff.
the worst. Going through the grocery store, you know, we there's a lot of times I just place my order online and drive through and pick it up because I spend half the money than when I go in the store and I see, oh, this looks good, or this is on sale, or oh, that would be good, you know? And
Yeah.
so I've just had to put some systems in place that save time, save money, and the impulse goes away when you're buying online or
See?
yeah.
Yeah. See, I refuse to go to Walmart. So I always, if I have to get anything from Walmart, I order a pickup order.
Hmm.
And I refuse to go to Walmart because there's just so much stuff in there. My anxiety kicks in and it's like I need almost everything that's there.
Yep.
And then it's a lot of people. So I'm like, you know what? Me and Walmart, we have um we didn't break up completely. You know, I still I'm gaslighting Walmart for a
Yep.
while. So we have this relationship where, it's at my convenience. So yeah, I'm kind of
Hmm.
gaslighting Walmart.
Are you a busy professional and desire to balance mental and physical health? Fit for You is here to help. Calm stress, increase endurance, and prioritize your health. with Mental Size. Connect the 3Bs with your virtual partner, convenient and holistic, available for youth and adults. Accessible via the Fit For You Mental Size app, which also features recipes, preset workouts, and more. Join a like-minded and diverse wellness community and visit our website for more information and memberships. Join us.
That's okay. They appreciate it. Anything you spend there, they appreciate it. So it's all good. I'm the
Oh my
same way.
God.
I don't like to go there. There's a couple places where every time they put it on sale, they move it to a different place. If you're headed into the store, you know what you're there to get, but you can't find it where it's supposed to be because, oops, it's on sale. So they moved it 3 aisles down, which means you get to wander through 3 aisles you didn't need to go in, but you're going to find
Yeah.
something to buy anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the
Online
beginning.
shopping has saved me a world of money when it comes to grocery stores and like the big box stores. Because if I don't take the time to wander through, I don't know that I need it.
Yep. That's the biggest thing for me. If I have
Hmm.
time to walk through the aisles, I'm going to find something that I need or I
Right.
should get. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
I should get that. Because you can always have, yep, that's me.
Yep.
Yeah. Horrible. How did you start your journey as a nutritionist and a wellness coach?
Well, I had my boys, and I loved being a mom, and I loved my job working with my husband. But we reached a point in time where we worked together, we lived together, and all we had to talk about was work and the boys. And so I knew that I was looking for something, but applying for jobs wasn't any fun, wasn't my thing. And then one day I got frustrated with my weight, and I decided to join a fitness class. And it's like this 9-week challenge, and I caught the fitness bug. And then after I completed the challenge, I really loved this. And they said, hey, do you want to coach? And would you like to teach classes? And I did. And I fell in love with that too. Something about um, having a job where you can do things like where your job's fun and then you're also helping people.
Yeah.
I really loved doing that. And so the business was at a point where after my husband and I talked, I could do something different. And we found someone to take over what I was doing, and I opened a gym. And got my personal training certification and my nutrition certification, and did all those things. And I was a franchise, so small gym, about 40 miles from here, was looking to expand, and so I trained with them, and I opened the doors, and never looked back. It was 7 years of amazing experiences. I met people who lived in my town that I would have never bumped into. Well, I might have bumped into them, but I didn't have any reason to know them. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so thousands of people walked in, and I met all of these amazing people with great stories, and their hard work and my ability to get on a microphone and teach group classes and push, 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 push. They had good success, and yeah, it just was kind of like one of those God things. He put me in the right place at the right time, with the right circumstances surrounding me that I could try um, to do something new.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa. What was the business side of that like running the gym? Like keeping up with like memberships and okay.
Fortunately, we live in a time where everything's automated. You know, I I'd love to tell you, oh, I'm just really organized, and that's just not the case. The people that my franchisors had a system in place, and if you were to come in and join my gym, we filled something out, you were in this system, it automatically billed you every month. It automatically, if you had the little key fob, you checked in. it was just easy. But my gym was different than a lot of the bigger gyms where I just had 6 classes a day.
Okay.
So it wasn't a 24-hour thing. It wasn't even a 12-hour thing. It was all group fitness, and so I was there for most of it.
Mm.
I was the main employee, and then we had peer coaches and instructors, people who had come up through the program that learned to coach people and be support. And it was awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How did your husband support that venue?
Well, financially, he helped us for quite a while. His business and our personal finance, our home finances supported while we were taken off. Um, Jeff actually he attended classes there, and he learned to teach kickboxing, and he was like one of the favorite instructors. He was very supportive. He was.
That's
I have a
awesome.
good husband. He
Yay,
didn't he
Jeff.
didn't work it right. Yeah, he didn't work it full time, but he dropped in and he taught a class 1 hour a week, and he was my backup. If I had to do something or if I wasn't feeling well, he'd always drop in and take care of the class for me. So I was very
Aw,
lucky in that respect.
I want one of those. That's so sweet. I want one of those.
Yes, he's a good guy.
Yeah. I used to
And that
take kickboxing when I was little.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. It was a blast. It's still my favorite thing, but now I have 57-year-old hands, and they don't like to hit things quite as much as they used to. But the gym is closed now. We closed in 2017, but we both still miss it very much.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet you do. So were the boys like active in the gym too? Would they come in the gym and they would take any of the classes?
My youngest one would take some classes. He just liked to walk around and talk to people. He was very social. But he was like 14 at the time. My oldest son is 7 years older, and he was also a personal trainer. So he would help some people who we had a separate little weight room, like a personal training room, and he would have some people who wanted to do more of the heavy lifting in your traditional gym
That is so awesome. You had
workouts.
this opportunity that grew and it also included your whole family.
It did. It did.
That is beautiful. I wonder about that sometimes. I wonder about the things that I want to do and the things that I've dreamed about, and I know they're like my dreams and my visions, but I want to incorporate my family, but it's like, do they want to do this? And just
Mhm.
that's awesome. You have like a little,
Yeah.
aw.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was.
Why did you guys close the gym?
Well, my husband was slowing down in his business, and we owned several restaurants. That's what we did together. And like a national franchise, we had several individual stores, and we had great managers in place. We had good people working, and he went to Arizona for a couple months because his business was fine, but I was still here with the snow flying, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make it to classing time. And after a year of that, I was kind of like, this isn't fun. I mean, if so, since his job allowed him some freedom, it was just the right time.
Yeah.
And fortunately for us, we made the decision. We parted ways. People went to other gyms all before the pandemic because there were a
Mhm.
lot of small gyms that struggled during the
Yeah.
pandemic, and
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that our timing was the way it was. So
Sounds a bit divine.
yes,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Congratulations on the businesses.
yeah,
Y'all rocking and rolling. Look at
yep,
that.
yep. They're all gone now. My husband sold his business in 2021, and so that's when I started writing. I needed something to do because I was going crazy. No gym, no restaurants. At the
Ooh.
time, there were no grandkids. I've got those now, but yeah,
So you had
eventually
to
you
be
have to have
still.
interests separate from your spouse, So I started writing. He played more golf. It's all good.
You started writing and you wrote, how many books do you have?
Um, my first book came out in May, and it's called Reflections of Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And well, Reflections of Joy: Learning to Love the Woman You See While Becoming the One You're Meant to Be. And it started out as a how-to book. And I thought, I'm going to write a book about everything we did at the gym, and I'm going to tell people how to have these same great results when they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had always been a seed in the back of my head. I thought I would do this. And then after I retired and after we didn't travel so much, I kind of spiraled into this place of what do I do now? I don't have a purpose. I don't have, my kids are in college and they don't need me. My husband doesn't need me. Like, what do I do?
Ooh,
And
I
the focus of the book really went from a how-to book to a how-I book, because one day while I was journaling, I flipped the page, and from Song of Solomon scripture that says, "You are so wonderful, there is no flaw in you." And that's very paraphrased. Okay, I'm sorry.
mm-hmm.
But it hit me, and it just made me realize that I had become the woman I had been helping. I wasn't going out, I wasn't doing anything. I hated the way I looked in the mirror because I wasn't exercising. And I went complete 180 from the person I was when I owned the gym. And crying, after reading the scripture and journaling. And it just really, I came to the point where I realized that it doesn't matter what I look like or what my career is. The Lord's always going to love me. And He loved me from the moment He envisioned my life and my existence. And He'll love me until long after I die. And I wish more women and men would remember that each one of us is a great creation, right? I just, and I feel like every time the dear Lord must look down on us and just be so sad sometimes, because He created us wonderful and in His image. And yet there are times where we look in the mirror and we think, yuck,
Mm-hmm.
and what a slap in the artist's face, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure that He feels the same hurt in His heart that you would feel if your own child didn't love who they were, right? Because you look at
Mm-hmm.
your children and you think, look at what I did, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that's not good. Sometimes you think, look at what I did. But there are other moments, most of them hopefully, where you look and you think, oh my goodness, I
Mm-hmm.
created this, right? And so when they're unhappy or they don't love who they are, that breaks your heart. And so just imagine how the dear Lord feels when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see.
Yeah.
And somehow that simple realization, the scale didn't change because I realized God loved me, but my attitude changed. And I started moving because I wanted to be healthy. And I started taking a little bit better care of myself because I am worth it. And so it's been a couple of years just learning to love myself again, the way I should have loved myself all along, and the way we all should. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a big one. I think a
yeah,
lot of times when, ooh, I know you went through empty nesting syndrome, but I'm
yeah.
not there yet. But when we have these big transitions in our lives and we kind of have to sit and reflect on who we are, it gets a little bit mm, cloudy
Hmm.
because we know ourselves as who we built ourselves to be.
Hmm.
But that's not necessarily who God sees. when he looks at us.
Right.
So we have to break down everything that we thought we built about ourselves and strip all of that away, all of our titles, everything, to figure out who I am. Who is it that God said I am? And
Mm-hmm.
learning who our identity is in Christ is the root of being happy, of your joy, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud you for taking that. I know you had to get sit still. He did it to me before. Sit down. We gotta get
Mm-hmm.
still.
Yeah.
But it's for a reason. It's for that revelation. He had you had to understand how precious you are to God.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, then it's a lot that you will accept that you shouldn't be accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's necessarily from other people. You accept it from yourself. Like you said, you stop exercising and everything. And that's something nobody else told you to stop exercising. Nobody
No.
said, you better not do this, or you could be cursed if you do this. That's something that you accepted. You brought that to yourself and you accepted it. So most of the time we have to deal with who we ended up being and not
Right.
who we were created to be.
Right.
And that's a big, big, hard thing to do, because it's a lot of times it's hard to look at ourselves and to figure out, well, what did I do?
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
You start off on this adventure, and then you get married, and you think you know who you're going to be. But in my case, then, I had kids, and I would never, I always wanted children. But until you're in the thick of it, you don't realize you can't be all the things all at one time. And eventually you have to put some things on the shelf or on the back burner as you complete one phase of your life. But yes, moving into empty nest it was amazing, and it was scary, and it was sad. I mean, dropping my kids off, each one of them, to school, when it went from 4 to 3 was a traumatic experience. When it went from 3 to 2, it was even more. And yeah, we traveled, and yes, we have more conversations, and yes, we have more money because the kids don't need anything anymore. But but your identity is so wrapped up into whose wife you are, or whose mother you are, or
Mhm.
who you work for, or what the title underneath your name is,
Yep.
writer, doctor, mother, whatever it, salesperson, whatever it is. And it's not who God loves, that we're busy, and God loves that we are self sufficient, and God loves we take care of other people. But you're right, it's not who God made us to be. God made us to be, and God made me to be Kim.
Yeah.
And what are her gifts? And the really cool thing is, once the kids are gone, and you can really sit down and be still and listen to what He's wanted you to do all along. If you take the reins, it's pretty cool.
Right.
And for me, I told my story. And out of that story, now I'm coaching people, and now I'm working with people. And I feel like I am living to the purpose that He intended for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
want to ask you about dieting.
Okay.
Is there a particular diet that you would recommend for anyone?
I think there's the perfect diet for everyone, and I think it's different than anybody else. Um, I told you I've always written, I've always journaled, I've always kept track. I don't track how much food I eat or whatever, but I write down what I eat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've followed every diet under the planet. I bought every diet book there is. I've tried every plan. Um, Some of them make me feel terrible. Some of them make me feel good. And they're all in my book. So if something all of a sudden clicks, not in my book, in my journal, if something clicks and the scale's moving and I feel like I have a lot of energy, I try to do that. And for me, I eat a balance. There's nothing off the table for me. Right? We don't restrict anything in our house. We eat protein, fats, and carbs faithfully in combination every meal. We do so because, protein and fat keep us feeling full. They help build muscle. They're good for brain health. We eat vegetables and fruit because it tastes good and because the vitamins and the nutrients. We eat grains. We eat everything in my house.
Yeah.
My husband has some things he doesn't care for. I have some things I don't care for. There's some people who thrive on keto, and there are some who thrive with intermittent fasting. But I don't think that any one of us should subscribe to a diet and stick to a diet because it worked for someone else. You shouldn't suffer.
Yeah.
Eating is so pleasurable and it's so necessary for good health that it makes me sad that people just like stop eating or stop eating things that taste good, right?
Right.
I mean, how
Right.
many people do you know on a diet that just eat lettuce and rice and
The
chicken
only people I
and
know on a diet is for health reasons. Like they gotta have a low salt diet and stuff like that. I
yeah,
I've been well, I eat as if I'm on a keto diet when I didn't even know what it was until it became, I guess, popular. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to try keto. I'm going to try keto." I didn't know what they were talking about, and I
mm-hmm,
had to do some research. And I was like, "Well, I already eat like that
mm-hmm,
because I eat meat and I mostly eat vegetables. Um, I don't eat a lot of carbs, so I guess mine would be a modified keto diet because I eat carbs, but I don't eat a
yeah,
lot of them. Um, like I don't eat rice. I haven't eaten rice since I was a little girl,
yeah,
and that was just a psychological thing because
yeah,
nothing is wrong with rice, but I haven't eaten rice since I was a little girl. But I didn't know that I was eating in a particular way. But that's how I've always liked to eat. I
yeah,
usually eat a lot of meat and a lot of vegetables.
mm-hmm,
Um, I like gained weight in the last couple of years due to birth control,
mm-hmm,
and it has been, oh my God, the hardest thing ever because I'm used to being so small.
yeah,
I've been small my whole life, and then got birth control. I won't say which one, but it's an implant.
mm-hmm,
And
okay,
oh my God, I was huge, and I was like, so miserable. Well, once I took the implant out, it took about maybe about 8 months, almost a year, to where like initial weight started coming off. And I guess that's because the hormones were trying to balance themselves out. But hey, I'm almost 40 now. So guess what?
here
Hormones are
come the
doing
hormone
something
changes.
else.
Yep. I was just going to say you're going to level off and then, oops, guess what? It's going to change again.
They're doing something else now. So,
Yep.
you know, and so I'm like, okay, is there something else that I can do? Okay, I work from home now, so everything I'm stationary. So I've started trying to move around on breaks or potty breaks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay. It started working, but now I feel like I'm at a plateau. And I'm like, okay, do I need to start lifting weights now? Maybe I got to go to the gym and lift weights and do this and do that. But then it's like, is that going to be effective the way I want it to be effective? Because I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I just want to.
No, no. And that's the thing. I mean, you can lift weights you can lift weights and you can lift heavy weights and do exactly what you are looking for. Trim down, be strong. Um, Men bulk faster than we do, thankfully, because
Mm,
I mean, and if you're a woman and you want to bulk up, that's great for you, but it's not what I wanted. Um, yeah, the thing is you're never going to know till you try,
Yeah.
especially once we reach that point where our hormones are in flux and you can't count on it anymore. So like for me, the same thing. Well, I hit menopause. I'm almost 60, a couple years away. But
So,
but it's like once I started going through menopause, all the things that had worked for good health weren't working anymore. I couldn't keep my weight at a certain place. My body ached sometimes. I was tired. And it's not even just size. It's just overall good health in the way I felt. And so where before I would kickbox 3 days a week and I would lift weights 3 days a week and I ate a certain way, all of a sudden that wasn't necessarily keeping me feeling the way I wanted to feel.
oh Lord, you ain't giving me no hope.
Well, no, because I just had to change things up. Like my body at 57 doesn't respond to kickboxing anymore. I mean, I just hurt. I lift weights, but I might not lift as heavy. And I actually do it here at home. I use resistance bands
Mm,
um, because I can do it at home.
yeah.
Instead of kickboxing, I'm walking a lot. And it's just my body likes it. And I feel like I was working out so hard and I was dieting so hard to try and be the same, but I was causing inflammation and I was causing stress and I was not in a good mood. And so now that I eat like you do. I eat, plenty of protein and I eat a lot of vegetables, but every once in a while I'll throw in a good piece of sourdough bread or, we might have potato or some rice or some
Mhm.
beans just whenever, but
Yeah.
it's not my everyday. Um, and and I'm walking every day and my body's changing again. And it's like,
Hi everyone! Join the Kingdom Fanatics community. Get exclusive content, green room access with our guests, and more. Visit our website at whogodsays.com. Like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate your love and support. To find all information on joining our community, being a guest on the show, donating on our PayPal donation page, and more, visit us at whogodsays.com. Now back to the show.
but you can't, if you get mad about it and you're frustrated and you step on the scale and you let that stress build in you every day, that's just working against you too.
Yep.
So I would say if the same old thing's not working, tweak just a little bit. And then the other thing that I've noticed is I talk to women. Every woman is under the perception if I just stop eating, I'm going to lose weight, right? And so that works. I mean, like, not just stop, but, like really cut my calories way down low. That's what I mean. But, like our bodies need a certain amount of food.
Yeah.
And whether we want to believe it or not, our bodies are smarter than we are. And so eventually, if you don't give your body food, your body's going to quit losing as quickly. So if you had something that was really working for you and you were feeling good, and then all of a sudden you plateaued, you know, maybe just eat a small little snack. Add a small snack the next day and like make your body think, oh, she really does love me. She's going to feed me. Sometimes adding like 100 calories. When I was at the gym, I'd have ladies that were totally plateaued and so angry. I'm like, just add a little snack. And
Mm.
sure enough, they'd come back the next week and hop on the scale and they started moving again. You know, it just mix it up, have some fun. Sometimes have a treat day. Not all the time, but once in a while, have a day where you just don't care and hit it hard again the next day. And a lot of times the scale will start moving again.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. Well, I'm getting baptized Saturday, so I'm going to eat ice cream.
nice. Good for you. On both counts, the
Yeah.
baptism and the ice cream. It's like a
Yeah,
bonus
this
day.
time it's me saying this is what I want to do. Even though I actually saw it in a dream over a year ago. And so I was like, I think it's time for me to get baptized.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, getting baptized of
That's
my
very
own free
cool.
will this time.
Yeah, I was baptized as a baby, so I know what you're saying. I'm thankful that my parents loved me enough to do that for me,
Yep,
but it feels really good to make the choice on your own too.
he does.
Nice.
And my son actually did too. He was like, I want to get baptized too. I was like, you can't get baptized because I'm getting baptized. It's like, I do. And I said, okay, so what does that mean to be baptized? He was like, to be washed over by the Lord. I was like, you're getting baptized Saturday with me. So
That's awesome.
I was like, okay. So, I mean, he told me he's 10.
Good for him. Yeah, it'll be a
Okay,
special day
what?
too because he shares it with you.
Yes, my big guy. He's my only boy. So, but it's okay. I don't think I'm going to be one of those moms that hold on too tight because he's the only boy. So I did that with my baby brother. So I don't think I'll do it with my son.
Yeah.
I spoiled my little brother, Matthew. I spoiled him terribly. And I reaped all of that when he was like high school, even though it was bad on my dad too, but I reaped all of that. I was like, oh, never again. He
Yeah.
was the only child I spoiled, not even my own children. I was like, I'll never do that again. Mm-mm. Never. Mm-mm.
No.
What would you say to women who feel like they don't have the time to like cook proper meals, exercise, or like just pay a little bit more attention to their health?
I would say you have time for what you want to have time for. Um, Once upon a time, we didn't have telephones and computers, and I remember a time. When I was in high school, that's the very first time I used a computer, and it was this great big huge machine. Um, and then it's like all of this was supposed to give us more time,
Mm-hmm.
but instead, what we've done is we've turned our phones into the ability to work longer hours or to scroll and call it entertainment. So that would be the first thing I would say is if you think you don't have time to take care of yourself and you think you don't have time to cook a meal and sit with your family, look at how much time you're working or you're scrolling. That would be my first thing. My second thing would be to try some of the things that we talked about earlier. Try going to the grocery store and getting your food ready. If you do like to eat rice, or I love like black beans and rice. So on Saturdays, I'll make a big pot of both, and then I cool them and I store them in the fridge. Um, I cut the vegetables up like we talked about. I cook a big portion of meat. I hard boil eggs. I do all these things because right there, I just bought myself a minimum of 30 minutes a day. I mean, a minimum of that.
Yeah.
Because I wake up in the morning and some of the stuff I prepped is my breakfast. I scramble a couple eggs, throw some vegetables in. I'm eating in less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch, the salad is prepared, the meat's done. I'm eating in less than 5 minutes. Dinner's the same way. So you can find time there. Um, yeah, there's just time. And quite
Yeah.
honestly, you don't have to. We all have this perception that if I don't have an hour, that's not enough time to work out. You can take a 15-minute walk. And, you and I were talking the other day when I first met you and we set ourselves up to have
Yeah.
this appointment today. And you said that you walked to the bus with your kids
Yep.
and back. That counts,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we have to swipe away what we think is exercise and just remember that moving our bodies um, counts. If you work at a computer and you get up once an hour and you walk around the house, or you walk outside and you check the mail or whatever you do, it counts. It adds up. You don't have to do things in big chunks. So
Yeah.
I would tell the woman who thinks she doesn't have time to be a bit more creative. because it's there.
Yeah. Bit more creative. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to think that too. I have to go to the gym. I have to work out on the machines. I have to, because I didn't think that it would be efficient if I'm just taking a walk down the block. Like the bus stop is 2 blocks down. So now I'm like, okay, that'll be my morning and afternoon walk. So it'd be 2 blocks there, 2 blocks back. And I'll know that I got full range motion walk instead
Yep.
of sitting in front of the computer all day and not moving unless I'm going to the restroom or fixing dinner or something like that. And I have noticed my energy throughout the day has changed. I would usually, when I wake up in the morning, I would usually still be very tired. Like I want to go right back to sleep. And if it's quiet in the house, I'm going right back to sleep. So I have to turn on the TV. I have to make sure there's things in the background so that I can't go to sleep because I sleep when it's absolutely quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But and then around a little bit after lunchtime, I would get sleepy again. But I started doing these walks like last month
Mm-hmm.
regularly. And now school has started. So I'm like, okay, I'll be doing in the morning and in the afternoon. And it's like I don't get that. Once I'm up now. And
Mm-hmm.
then I don't get that dropping off after lunch. Now I will start adding in a snack because um after dinner, and I'm saying dinner because around dinner time, I don't usually even, if I can remember to eat dinner, then I'll do it. but
Right.
and that's one of the biggest reasons why I will start adding in a snack because it helps. It helps with my energy. It it helps with my body processing my food and everything because if I don't eat dinner, then I'm be like, oh, it's too late for me to eat anything. And then I'm gonna go to bed, stomach is gonna be growling, and that's not helping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I
Yeah.
will start adding in the snack. Just gotta figure out what I want. Oh no, need.
There's a lot of good choices, and it doesn't have to be big. I was talking to a coaching client yesterday, and she's like, I don't know what to do, and like snacks, a lot of times you think, oh, I'm going to grab a handful of popcorn, or I'm going to grab a handful of chips, or whatever. And we talked about a lot of choices yesterday, but sometimes I'll just grab like a couple slices of turkey and string cheese, or some apple slices, and peanut butter, or cottage cheese, yogurt, whatever, just something small.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was just thinking when you were talking about the kids, so many of our kids and so many moms are busy because they're running their kids to activities. And there was a point in time where I did taekwondo with my kids because I was sitting there. I thought to myself one day, I don't have time to exercise. And my husband said, well, how come you don't have time? Well, because I'm taking the kids to taekwondo and I'm sitting there for an hour and a half, watching them. And then I'm like, well, how stupid am I? I'm sitting there watching them. Why don't I do the same thing? Right? So sometimes too, I mean, like we're not going to go play football with our boys. Well, at least I'm not. But but sometimes our kids are in activities we can do too.
Yeah.
Dance or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I think we don't really think about it like that. They're doing something while they're doing it. We can be doing something too. Even if it's you bringing them to football practice and you just walk around the park while they're or the
Mhm.
track or whatever it is,
Right.
while they're at football practice or something like that. Yeah, that's
Yep.
a good idea.
And
That's a good
sometimes you can take care of a friendship at the same time too, right? Because you never have time to go out and talk with your friends. So if you're both there sitting in your cars, waiting for your kids, jump on out and go for a walk.
idea. And that helps the exercise go by easier.
It does. You don't even consider it exercise when you've got a girlfriend with you.
I won't tell you guys to drink wine, but I'll just say stay hydrated.
Yes.
Oh, I got one more question. How does
Okay.
body responsibility differ from body positivity?
Hmm. Well, body positivity for me is a given. Everybody is worthy. Everybody is worthy of being loved. Like we talked earlier, God looks at everybody and thinks, look at what I did. Look at how beautiful this is. So for me, body positivity is not even a question. But I don't like the way it's being portrayed today. And so that's where body responsibility comes in. Because I think even though there are times when I'm overweight, I've been overweight, even though there are times where I don't exercise, I'm still worthy of love, but maybe I'm not being responsible with my body and with my health. And I feel like each one of us has a responsibility to take good enough care of ourselves if we can, that we don't become a burden to our children or to our spouse or to the healthcare system. So I don't think I would never look at a woman and say, you should be this size, you should do these things. But I do look at my clients and say, you're worthy of good health. And so to get that, you have to eat good food, and you have to move your body, and you have to stay hydrated.
Yes.
And you need sleep, and you need faith, something. I work with women of all faiths. But we have to believe in someone bigger than ourselves. And when
Oh,
you put
yes.
all of those things together, you can live the most incredible life. And that's body responsibility. That's being the very best that you can possibly be.
I like it. Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. I want to thank you, Ms. Kim, for coming today and sharing with us. Is there anything else you would like to let the audience know, and where to connect with you, how they can reach you?
Yeah. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Kim Mosiman. My website is Kim Mosiman Wellness, and there I share recipes sometimes, and I blog, and there's all information about my book, Reflections of Joy. I would love for people to let me know if they read it. One, leaving a review, because that tells other people what you think about the book. But two, I like when people send me a note or reach out to me, because I want to know if you agree, if it helped you, if you disagree, and why. I'm not just looking for the fives, for the 5 stars and the woohoos. I want to know how I could have helped more, or like I said, my purpose in life is to live a life full of joy and to help people. So if I could help in another way in the future book, you got to let me know.
Yeah, I like that. So we'll be going to your website so we can buy this book, Reflections of Joy. I love the title too.
Thank you.
Again, I want to thank you for coming by and sharing your time and your talent and your spirit with us. Any last words before we sign off?
No, thank you so much for allowing me to join you and to talk and just share.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Who God Says podcast with your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-Dra. Go to whogodsays.com to join the mailing list for episode premieres, upcoming guests, and more. Send in your questions to be a part of the show at whogodsays@gmail.com. And don't forget, join the Kingdom Fanatic community. Until next time, be blessed and also be a blessing.